Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It's January 28th, 2023, and Barcelona have just begun negotiations to extend the contract of Ousmane Dembele. Also, Joao Cancelo has been offered to the club. And finally, looks like Manchester United are still interested in signing Frenkie De Jong. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and I'm currently out of the country attending a friend's wedding. So, as such, I'm away from my computer and all my equipment. So, I'm bringing you this live and unedited video to bring you the most up-to-date Barcelona news. I wasn't able to post a video yesterday because I was in an area where there was no internet connection. So, I do apologize for that. And as a result, now we have a lot of news to cover because I have all the news from yesterday and from today to give you because as we already know, Barcelona never rests and there's always news about our beloved club. Now we start with the news that Barcelona defeated Girona 1-0 today in La Liga in a very difficult match where Barcelona did not feel comfortable at all throughout that 90 minutes and never really had the control of the match. And it took them 60 minutes for Pedri to score the first and only goal of the match. And that did not make things any better because once again, and I feel like I'm always having to repeat myself, Barcelona did not know how to close the match. And they ended up suffering. And during the final minutes, as Girona mounted an attack after an attack, and where they came really close to drawing the match. And we've seen this story repeat itself over and over again. And it's not looking good. I mean, if we want to win more championships, Xavi and the team need to fix this. The team need to learn how to close matches. They can't just score one goal and then relax. They need to go ahead and try to score the second, the third, and the fourth. Because if you only rely on that one goal that you scored, you can get scored against any moment and you can lose, drop points. And that's how you lose championships. So the team really need to work on this. And there's also the problem with Ousmane Dembele. Looks like he was injured. It's now being confirmed that he will be out for around 3 weeks. And this is a big blow to the team because Dembele had been performing really well, creating a lot of danger on their right wing. So that's bad news for Barcelona. Now, this estimate might change tomorrow because there will be more medical exams, more extensive medical exams that will be done on the player to see how serious his injury is. But as of now, they're saying that he will be out for 3 weeks. Hopefully that changes and it's less, but it's not looking good. So the silver lining from all of this is, of course, that Barcelona did take home 3 very important points. So they will stay at the top of La Liga table for 1 more week. Now on to the news that Barcelona have confirmed that Marcos Alonso has extended his contract with the club for 1 more season until the summer of 2024. Now, Marcos Alonso's contract was set to expire at the end of the season. However, Xavi is very impressed with the player, and he considers him a really good option to replace Gerard Piqué since he is a left-footed player who can play in the center-back position, and he has done a pretty good job in the matches where he has. So Xavi requested that the club extend his contract, and the club have now confirmed the negotiations are all done. The contracts have been signed, and Marcos Alonso will be with Barcelona for 1 more season. Now, Barcelona are also set to meet with 2 more players in the upcoming days to negotiate or to try to see the contract renewals. And those players are Sergio Busquets and Sergio Roberto, both players whose contracts will expire at the end of the season. Now, Sergio Busquets so far is looking like he wants to leave at the end of the season to go to the MLS, but Xavi wants to sit down with the player and convince him to stay for 1 more season so he can train his replacement and he can continue to be a leader in the locker room. And as far as Sergio Roberto, the club also want to try to convince him to extend his contract by 1 more season. But Sergio Roberto is looking like he does want to stay at the club, so this renewal will most likely be happening, especially since Sergio Roberto accepted a very low salary when he extended his contract with Barcelona last time, and he's willing to accept another low salary. So Barcelona don't see this Xavi request as being a big problem because they'll be having a very experienced player who's a Barcelona captain be able to stay for 1 more season on very low cost. Now, Barcelona's next objective will also be to extend the contract of Ousmane Dembele. Dembele signed a 2-year contract renewal, which expires in the summer of 2024. and Xavi considers Dembele as a key piece of his team. So he has instructed the club to do everything in their power to extend the contract of the Frenchman. And it looks like Barcelona have already began communication with Ousmane Dembele's agent, Moussa Sissoko, in order to schedule a time and place so they can sit down and begin negotiations of the contract renewal of the French attacker. Now, Dembele and his agent want to stay in Barcelona. Dembele seems to be very happy under Xavi. However, his agent, Moussa Sissoko, knows that Dembele now has a higher market value because Dembele, when he renewed his contract with Barcelona, did accept a salary reduction. So now Moussa Sissoko will be looking to ask for a lot more money, since Dembele has been doing a lot better than he did the first 5 years where he was at the club. Now, one player who won't be staying here at the club will be Hector Bellerín. As we already knew, Hector Bellerin's contract will expire at the end of the season, and Barcelona had no intentions of renewing it because he hasn't really lived up to Xavi's expectation. He hasn't really cemented himself in the squad because Xavi's not impressed with his level at all. Doesn't consider Bellerin's level to be at the Barca level. But now it's being reported that the club have officially informed Hector Bellerin that they will not be extending his contract and they will not be continuing his relationship. Now, Barcelona could be getting rid of Bellerin during this winter transfer market because it looks like Sporting Lisbon will be losing their right-back player, who's Pedro Porro, a player that Barcelona were also considering for the right-back position, because it seems like Pedro Porro will be joining the Premier League club, Tottenham Hotspur. So as a result of this loss for Sporting Lisbon, looks like they are considering signing Bellerin to replace Pedro Porro. They haven't reached out to Barcelona yet, but it's being reported that they will be reaching out in the upcoming days to see if they can arrange a deal. Now, Bellerin had previously said that he wants to remain in Barcelona until the end of the season. But the club will try to convince him to leave now because, of course, that's more beneficial, because if Bellerin leaves now, Barcelona could make some money off his transfer. If he leaves at the end of the season, he will be leaving for free. But one thing is for sure, that Bellerin will be leaving and Barcelona will not be continuing their relationship with him. Now, as a result of this, of course, Barcelona's main objective will be in the summer is to sign someone for the right-back position. And a new name has come up, and that is Joao Cancelo. Now, Joao Cancelo is a 28-year-old Portuguese right back who currently plays for Manchester City. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, right back in the entire world. And it seems that he doesn't want to stay at Manchester City and he wants to leave this upcoming summer. Now, Joao Cancelo's agent is Jorge Mendes, who has a really good relationship with Jan Laporta. And it seems that as soon as Joao Cancelo informed him that he wanted to leave the Premier League club, Jorge Mendes picked up the phone and informed Barcelona of this. And told them and offered the player to the club, and started seeing if Barcelona are willing to make some kind of offer or a negotiation with Manchester City for the Portuguese right back. Now, Barcelona are very interested in this signing. However, his contract does expire in 2027 with Manchester City. So most likely the Premier League club will be asking for a big amount of money. So even though Barcelona want this player, this will all depend on how much money Manchester City will ask for, because after all, Barcelona are in a very difficult financial situation. Now, another option for the right back position that has been gaining a lot of steam these past few weeks is Arnau Martinez. He's someone that I told you about in the past. He's a 19-year-old right back who currently plays for Girona. He actually came up through the Barcelona academy, so he's very familiar with the Barcelona style of play. And he's also always said many times through interviews that he is a Barcelona fan at heart, and that if Barcelona call him up, that he will drop everything to play with the club because that's his dream. And it seems that Xavi has become a big fan of Arnau Martinez and would really like to have him on the team. So this would be a very real and also affordable option for the club, because after all, it's reported that Girona would be willing to part ways with Arnau Martinez for around 20 million euros, which is, of course, would be a great deal for Barcelona, especially for a 19-year-old who already knows how to play in Barcelona and who has a lot of promise and a big, bright future ahead of him. Now, Barcelona are still considering the two other options that I told you about in previous videos, which are Juan Foyth from Villarreal, who Barcelona are still receiving scouting reports on him. And there's, of course, Benjamin Pavard, who wants to leave Bayern Munich this summer and who has offered himself to Barcelona, and that Barcelona are considering to sign him as well. Now, on to the news that Manchester United appears that they're still interested in Frenkie De Jong. and they will be making an offer for him in the summer. Now, as you might recall, Manchester United tried to sign Frenkie De Jong in the summer because Erik ten Hag wants to have Frenkie on his team. He considers him as the key midfielder that he's still missing from his squad. And however, Frenkie De Jong did not want to leave the club, and Erik ten Hag was not able to convince Frenkie De Jong to make the switch to the Premier League club. And it seems that Manchester United and Erik ten Hag have not given up on the Dutch midfielder, and they will be trying to make an offer for him in the summer. And it looks like Erik ten Hag has a plan to call Frenkie De Jong, have another conversation with him to try to convince him to make the move. Now, for now, Frenkie De Jong, of course, is very happy at Barcelona. He's made it clear several times he wants to stay in Barcelona. And also Jean Laporta, after wanting to sell Frenkie De Jong past summer, he has now said that Frenkie De Jong is completely untouchable. He's also untouchable for Xavi. So neither the club nor the player are now willing to part ways. But of course, that could change in the summer, and maybe Erik ten Hag could convince Frenkie De Jong. We will have to wait and see. But as of now, Frenkie De Jong will not be moving out of Barcelona. Now on to the news that Barcelona, the Abde, who has been playing pretty well with Osasuna, will be, of course, ending his loan at the end of the season. And it seems that Barcelona have decided to give the Moroccan winger an opportunity once he comes back to see if he can earn his spot on the squad. And if he does, then Barcelona will plan on to keep him. However, if he can't prove himself once he comes back from loan, then Barcelona are consider selling him, because there are a lot of clubs after the Moroccan player, especially after his good performance during the World Cup. Now, this will be the same situation for Nico, who's currently injured and who's currently on loan with Valencia. He will also be coming back to the club at the end of the season, and he will have his opportunity to try to earn a spot on the squad. However, if he doesn't, then Barcelona also don't mind selling him, because he too has a good market value, and there are a lot of clubs after him. Not as much as Abde, but these two youngsters definitely have a good market value, and if they can't find their spot on the team, then Barcelona will consider selling him. Now, my personal opinion, I think we should keep Abde on the squad, because he even though he might not be that right Barcelona winger profile who plays with the ball possession, he is someone who is very fast and who has really good dribbling skills. So I think he would be a good option in matches against teams that defend against low block, where the high possession of Barcelona is not working. You can bring someone like Abde, who can dribble past defenders and open up spaces, just like Dembele does on the right wing. But of course, we will have to see whether Abde will be able to convince the club to keep him. But one thing is for sure is that he will have his opportunity to earn his spot. Now on to the news of Ángel Alarcón has extended his contract with Barcelona. Ángel Alarcón, of course, I told you about a few days ago. He is the 18-year-old forward who currently plays for Barca Athletic, and who seems that who has been called up to the first team on several of these past matches. It seems that Xavi is very impressed with this youngster, and he thinks that he could do well in the first team. So, and as a result, he instructed Barcelona to extend the contract of this young player. And now it's been announced that Ángel Alarcón has agreed to extend his contract with Barcelona. So he will continue to be a Barca Athletic player. And Xavi does still plan to call him up to the first team. Now we will end today's video with the news that Ronaldo Nazario, Tite, who's Brazil's coach during this past World Cup, have all made very interesting statements about Vitor Roque. Ronaldo Nazario had observed Vitor Roque during the I think it was the under-21 youth competition, and said that he was very surprised by the skills and talents that Vitor Roque has, and that he thinks Vitor Roque will become one of the best forwards in the world in the upcoming years. And also Tite said, made statements along the same lines, saying that he was very surprised by Vitor Roque and how skilled he is, and that he also thinks he will become one of the best players in the world. And he said that he was very impressed with how fast he is, how strong he is, how well he can protect the ball, and how most defenders don't understand how to stop Vitor Roque. And I bring this up because, of course, if these two legends like Tite and Ronaldo Nazario say these things about Vitor Roque, then obviously all the reports, the scouting reports are correct. Vitor Roque does have a very bright and promising future ahead of him, and he will most likely become one of the best forwards in the world. And as I mentioned before, Barcelona are currently in negotiations with Atlético Paranaense, which is Vitor Roque's club, to sign him in the summer. which is when he will be 18 years old by then. And Vitor Roque has made it clear that he wants to come in Barcelona. So this signing is looking like it will happen, but it will all depend, of course, on the negotiations between Barcelona and Atletico Paranaense, where Barcelona are right now negotiating a payment plan for that 30 million euro transfer fee that the club will have to pay for Vitor Roque, which is one of the biggest promising talents in the world right now. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date on all the Barcelona news. Now, I will be continue bringing you this live video until I return home, which will be on Tuesday. So I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Have a great weekend. And as always, Peace, Barça.